Hello everyone, and welcome to today's Baxter Student Ambassador Program webinar. Presenting for us is Alina Doaga of the British Columbia Institute of Technology. Hi Alina, how are you today?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good. So just before we get started, I'd like to quickly introduce some of the people attending today's webinar. Joining us from BCIT is Morgan Westcott. Here at Baxter, we have Wendy McClung, Emily McClung, Ashley Rochefort, Ian Stalker, and I'm Dan McDonald. And for anyone signed in via computer today, if you have any questions during the webinar, just type them into the chat box or the Q&A box, which are found in your Zoom toolbar, and they will be answered after the presentation has finished. Okay, Alina, if you'd like to go ahead and share your screen, you can start whenever you're ready.
Okay, sounds good. All right, can everyone see? Everyone here? Okay, great. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alina Doaga, and today I'm happy to present to you on the Travel Agent's Guide to Selling Israel. So I'll start off with the agenda for my webinar. I'll start with some quick facts about the geography and some of the history of Israel, followed by the current tourism landscape. So what are the popular destinations and what are some of the up and coming visitor destinations? Then I'll go into the visitor target market, so the people that Canadian travel agents should be looking to target as visitors to Israel. Then I'll go into some incentives as well as recommendations for sales and marketing to these visitors. And then I've also researched some potential client questions that tend to come up when people are planning trips to Israel. And we'll conclude with my conclusion and the question and answer period. So to start off, Israel is located here on the east coast of the Mediterranean Sea. And zooming in closer, you can see here on the east coast, it is located with Lebanon to the north, Syria and Jordan to the east, and Egypt located to the southwest. So the country's total land area is approximately 22,000 square kilometers, making it roughly 2/3 the size of Vancouver Island. So it's quite small. It's actually possible to drive from the most northern end here all the way to the south in approximately 9 hours by car. It's also very geologically diverse. The climate and the environment changes from desert to mountain to farmland, sometimes in a matter of kilometers in some places. And the country is also divided into 4 main regions. Here on the west is the Western Plains, and these are warmer, greener lowlands where the coast is and where many of the beachside towns reside, such as Tel Aviv and Haifa. Then in the northern area here, this is very mountainous and hilly. This is where the Sea of Galilee and the Golan Heights are located, popular for hiking. A large portion of the southern half of the country is all arid desert land, which has many beautiful sandstorm formation and old sandy ruins to explore. And finally, the eastern side of the country is the Jordan Valley, which is very green and fertile grassland where a lot of the country's agriculture industry takes place. This is also where the famous Dead Sea is located here on the border. So the climate in Israel is very ranging from temperate to tropical, with temperatures in the summer in both Jerusalem and Tel Aviv averaging approximately 25 degrees Celsius, with about 8 to 15 degrees Celsius in the winter. So it's quite a lot warmer than our Canadian winters here. There's also the rainy winter period, which goes from November to May, followed by the dry summer season, which goes from June to October. So first I'll be discussing 2 very popular tourist sites when they're visiting Israel. The first one is probably the most popular and well-known, and it is the city of Jerusalem. So Jerusalem is the capital city of Israel and is also considered the holiest city in the Judaist faith. The city itself actually holds over 40% of all Jewish people in the world. Apart from the Jewish community, Jerusalem is also very culturally diverse, one of the most culturally diverse cities in Israel, with people living there from the Middle East, Africa, Europe, and Asia. And Jerusalem is a very old city. It has been standing for well over 3,000 years, despite many periods of war, conflict, and political change. And it also is home to the Jerusalem Old City, which is the gated structure located in the middle of Jerusalem that holds a lot of really historical significance from each of its four quarters. That's the Christian, Jewish, Muslim, and Armenian quarters. And each section of the Old City has different historical and heritage sites to those locals. So Jerusalem has a vast wealth of historical attractions and sites for people to visit. Some of these are religious, while others are more cultural attractions that are considered must-sees for visitors to the city. So some popular examples of places that tourists like to visit are the beautiful Dome of the Rock Shrine, and it's a beloved and ancient Muslim temple located in the Muslim Quarter. Here we have the Western Wall, also known as the Wailing Wall, which is where the Jewish people mourned the destruction of the Herod Temple in the 17th century, and it's still a very popular place for Jewish faith visitors to see. You can also take long, beautiful hikes up to the top of the city and gain a really spectacular view of Old Jerusalem. And yes, there are camelback tours available for those who want to take part in that. And there are also the vibrant souks and markets that visitors can shop for things like the aromatic spices you can see here, as well as gifts, souvenirs, and other treasures that the local vendors are offering. So second, I will focus on Tel Aviv, which is a beautiful and other densely populated city located on the shores of the Mediterranean Sea. So unlike Jerusalem, which is a lot more traditional, Tel Aviv is more urban, vibrant, and a lot more youthful demographic. The city has an extremely warm, friendly, and laid-back lifestyle, and it also has a really upbeat nightlife with a lot of bars, clubs, restaurants, and events going on both day and all throughout the night. Additionally, Tel Aviv is considered a hub for culinary innovators and modern artists. So Tel Aviv actually attracts a lot of really good chefs, artists, and hoteliers from around the world. So it's definitely considered a must-see for foodies and art lovers. So Tel Aviv, while being much more urban, also has plenty of beautiful classic sites for visitors to see. One of them being the ancient port of Jaffa, which is one of the world's oldest ports and offers really beautiful classic architecture, as well as some of the best seafood in the Mediterranean, which is caught fresh and delivered to the local markets and restaurants every day. There are also many buildings that have been well maintained in their traditional Bauhaus architecture, as you can see here. And a lot of these old buildings are open to the public, so visitors can enjoy both the interior and exterior of the buildings. There are many upbeat and lively food markets available all over the cities, and visitors are encouraged to by both their tour guides and a lot of the locals to try samples and really get as much as they can out of their time in Tel Aviv in terms of food exploration. And finally, of course, there are the iconic beaches of Tel Aviv. There are a lot of seaside hotels. They're really warm, beautiful aqua waters, and a variety of different events and activities to take place throughout the year, such as the Tel Aviv Food Festival and the Tel Aviv and Jerusalem Film Festival. So now we'll discuss a couple more destinations that are not only growing in popularity with visitors, but have also begun to evolve their own tourism offerings while preserving both the cultural and natural integrity of the historical sites. So first off is the Dead Sea, which is located on the eastern borders of Israel and Jordan. The Dead Sea is actually the lowest surface point on Earth, and it's 430 meters below sea level. The extremely salty water is said to have restorative and healing properties, and you'll find many of the tourists covering themselves head to toe in the mud from the sea's floor, as it's said to also have healing properties. This area is very accessible from major Israeli cities, and there's a lot of spa and accommodation options for various budgets. Next is the Sea of Galilee, which is located in the northern beautiful mountain ranges of Israel. For visitors coming on faith-based travels or pilgrimages, this area is really considered a must-see, as it was home to many Jewish and Christian stories and events throughout history. The Galilee region also holds many historical sites, such as Nazareth, and there are many tours available that take visitors through beautiful ancient churches, landmarks, and natural attractions in the area. So now that I've enticed you with all the visuals, I'll discuss how travel agents can provide their clients with access to some of these really beautiful places. So first of all, there has been an increasing interest to visit Israel from Canadians. So access to Israel is becoming more available to them. Recently, in the past year or two, airlines like Air Canada and Air Transat are now offering direct flights during peak seasons to Tel Aviv. And additionally, there are many other airlines available to take Canadians from major cities like Vancouver, Edmonton, Montreal, and Toronto to Tel Aviv, such as Turkish Airlines, Air France, Lufthansa, and United Airlines throughout the year. Now, in terms of accommodation options, there are a lot of styles to choose from in almost every major cities. So these range from 5-star luxury hotels in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. There's also private apartment rentals for couples or smaller groups. There are a lot of beautiful maintained guest houses and villas, some that come with service staff if that's what the visitors want. There are affordable hostels located all over the country that are very well maintained and receive really good reviews from the visitors. And there's even camping. So in fact, with the growth of tourism in the areas, especially like the Dead Sea, businesses have started to develop in that region. An example of this is a new rustic lodge concept that just got introduced, where visitors can camp in small cabins and have communal dinners, nightly bonfires, and get to experience the desert life in that area of Israel that they wouldn't have gotten in a hotel or a guest house. So, which Canadians should the travel agents be targeting? As per Destination Canada's Traveler EQ profile types, Israel has a really rich variety of opportunities to satisfy many different types of visitors. I'll be focusing on the top 3 EQ types that I think would be most attracted to Israel's offerings. So first we have the cultural history buffs. These would obviously be a top market to sell to Israel, being that there is a wide range of amazing learning opportunities in the country for them to experience. So these Canadians really want a deep cultural experience and understanding of the local history and culture. They want to observe the people, the places, and they want to learn about all the different attractions at their own pace. Because these history buffs greatly value learning about the local history, they will likely gravitate towards attractions that give them chances to learn and experience hands-on historical sites. For history buffs, offering them things like museum tours, access to famous heritage sites, art galleries, and experience to both dine and interact with locals should be a top priority for agents. The cultural history buffs are also more willing to spend a little bit more on experiences that do offer them that unforgettable value, especially on longer-term comprehensive tours of places like Old Jerusalem and Galilee. So next we have the cultural explorers. So these visitors are looking for a very immersive experience, and they're more interested in an off-the-beaten path kind of adventure and self-guided tours rather than museum tours or multi-day group tours that are a bit more rigid. These Canadians want a mix of modern and historical attractions, and they really want activities that give them a glimpse into both the ancient life and the current attractions in the area that they're visiting. So to these Canadians, opportunities like visiting heritage sites, the festivals and events in Tel Aviv, and options for free time to explore are top selling points to consider. So places like the seaside of Tel Aviv and the ancient port of Jaffa would be great suggestions for these individuals where they can kind of explore and learn on their own. So finally, we have the authentic experiencers. These Canadians want the best of both worlds when traveling. They want nature and they want culture, and to get the best experience, they want all their senses engaged. They want to smell the local spices, they want to taste the local food, and they want to hear the sounds of the street and the people as they walk by and see all the different sights. To an authentic experiencer, sites like the Dead Sea, a long action-packed multi-day tour, and outdoor activities like camel riding, hiking, and restaurant hopping should be top selling points to consider. As you can see in the picture here, I recently got to talk to an authentic experiencer, and this is my mom dipping in the Dead Sea as she got to go to Israel in December and took a group tour, and she found that this was a really great and authentic way to experience the area. So the Canadian travel agents should be trying to take advantage of the growing interest in visiting Israel by Canadians. There has been a 27% increase in global inbound tours and visits to Israel in 2016, and the Canadian visitation has increased by at least 10% in the first 3 months of 2016 and had been growing ever since that time. Some of this is due to the growing culinary scene attracting Canadians, as Canadians are very likely to put authentic food experiences near the top of their travel values when considering a destination. Israel is also a very common repeat visitation spot, so agents are able to offer really flexible packages and develop relationships with some of these clients as they can plan multiple trips and customize their stay. So a top priority would be to create special niche packages for their clients depending on what their interests are. So creating food and wine tours, creating religious packages for large groups that are visiting, and really taking advantage of the diverse blend of people that want to visit this area. And there are also many options for different budgets and group sizes. So travel is very attainable for many, and a lot of different Canadian demographics such as families, solo travelers, group and business travelers, all will have something that they can fit into their budget. Finally, because of the growth in tours, there are many opportunities for commission and upselling through local partnerships with tour operators, airlines, and local services. Air Transat has recently started adding their own group tours in places like Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, so travel agents could really partner with them to create really special packages for their clients. So next, I've prepared some potential questions that clients may ask their travel agents in regards to visiting Israel, and this was just through my research that I found were really common questions that travel agents should be prepared to answer with their clients. So the top question would likely be about safety, whether it's safe to travel and what they should be concerned about. And this can be addressed by just assuring them that traveling to Israel is very safe. It's relatively safe as compared to any other tourist destination, as long as you use vigilance and common sense when you're traveling, keep yourself safe, and you should be fine no matter where you go. In regards to the security presence, travelers will need to prepare for potentially longer security lines and possibly more police presence. However, this is precautionary, and as long as all visitors are respectful and honest during their time in security presence, any security processes that they're in should not take too long. And another common question for visitors is how to get around the country. What kind of transportation options are there? And this is especially common for visitors that are not planning on taking group tours during their stay in Israel. So for them, there's a wide variety of options for transportation. This includes high-speed trains, buses, shuttles from hotels, the airport, and between different attractions, and private coaches are available in all major cities. So there's a lot of flexibility in terms of how people want to travel throughout the country. So to sum up the presentation, why should travel agents in Canada be selling Israel to their clients? First, the country offers such a really great, rich cultural landscape that is different from a lot of other places in the world in terms of the diversity and the heritage of the area. The local people are very welcoming and kind, and they're really willing to share their culture with the visitors, and that's something that's really important to Canadian visitors. They want that authentic experience with the locals. Also, as the culinary world begins to evolve, the Canadians are becoming a lot more aware of new food trends in food tourism and travel, so giving them access to a diverse and really unforgettable culinary experience is very important to them. Because Israel is growing as a travel destination, there are also more options coming forth for every type of traveler to enjoy the beautiful area at their own pace and comfort level. And finally, with the increasing air access and travel trade partnerships that are emerging, especially in Canada, there are a lot of growing opportunities for Canadian travel agents to better create value for their clients and to expand their professional network through all these partnerships and really create special and memorable packages for their clients. So that concludes my presentation for today. Thank you all very much for your time, and I'm now ready for any questions that you all might have.
Thank you very much, Alina. So I'll just bring up the chat box and the Q&A box now.
Sure.
For anyone attending, submit any questions into either the chat box or the Q&A box, which can both be found in your Zoom toolbar. And it looks like Ashley has a question. She asks, which tour operators offer package tours to Israel?
Which tour operators offer package tours? So there are many that offer package tours to Israel. I believe that Air Transat was one of the first ones that I researched. They recently offered a lot of different options. There's also G Adventures offers them. A lot of the larger Canadian tour operators will offer tours to Israel, as well as the ones that are already in the country. So if you go to Go Israel or Tour Israel, those are two customer travel sites. They have a lot of options for different tours available for any type of client, whether you want a more laid back tour, a multi-day group tour, or just suggestions for different attractions to offer to clients.
Excellent, thank you. And I believe Ian Stalker has a question. Ian?
Hi, Alina. That was all very informative. Israel is a smallish country.
Mm-hmm.
How long do you recommend that tourists spend there? And here's a follow-up question.
Yep.
Would you suggest that they cross over to Jordan while in Israel too?
Yeah, so for the first part of that question, because it's a small country, I would say it really depends on what your intentions are when you're visiting. For more religious visitors that are going for faith-based travel, they'll tend to spend anywhere between a week to 2 weeks, just kind of a few days at the major sites that are really important for them to visit. For people that are going just for leisure, I would suggest anywhere from a week to 10 days. That seems to be what a lot of the tours that I researched offered. So that would be probably around the time that I would suggest, but it really depends on what you're looking for in terms of if you want a short stay, if it's something that you're doing as a stop to another destination. It really depends on what you're looking for in terms of your time there. And your second question was crossing into Jordan?
Yeah. The number are often available to Petra, the archaeological site of Petra, which is...
Yeah, so there are actually a lot of the tours that are offered through Israel, through the tour operators, do have options to visit Petra as part of their tours. So there's a lot of options to do that through tours. So you don't have to try to rent a car and drive out yourself. That's actually not recommended. It's easier to get through security and through the border just to go on a guided tour on a tour package. There's also day tours that you can do just with a tour guide that will take you in a small group through into Jordan to visit Petra for the day, and then there are options to stay there if you want, or to drive back into Israel to your hotels.
Great, thanks.
You're welcome.
Good stuff. And Wendy asks, is there an Israel government tourist office in Canada?
Yes, I think there is. I remember reading about it. Unfortunately, I don't know exactly where it is, but there is one for sure.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks.
No worries.
And Ian says, nice work, Alina. Are there any language concerns for English-speaking Canadians wanting to visit Israel?
Well, like any foreign country, not everyone will be able to speak English. However, Israel is, because it's such a diverse country, a lot of people that live there speak a multitude of different languages, English being one of the more popular ones. So especially in the main cities, so if you're going to Tel Aviv, Haifa, Jerusalem, anywhere like that, there are a lot of English speaking, not only tourism professionals, but also locals. So my biggest recommendation for if you're concerned about the language barrier is to just make sure that you are in contact with someone that is English speaking that you can refer to if you have any questions. But don't hesitate to kind of talk to people that are there, and a lot of them will speak English or can direct you to people that are English speaking for you to talk with.
Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll give it another minute just to see if any other questions get submitted here.
Yeah, of course.
And it looks like that's it for the questions today. So I'd like to thank everyone that tuned into the webinar today. Alina, thank you so much for your great presentation.
Thank you very much, Daniel.
So you have a great weekend, and we'll be in touch.
Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone.